It's payday, and before you blow that check, let's talk about launching a business empire. Tomorrow is April 4th, which in Atlanta is recognized as 404 Day, being how one of Atlanta's area codes is 404. The day consists of parties, events, local concerts, a variety of family activities across the city, so if you're out and about, stay safe and enjoy yourself. Now, some of you may be asking, what does 404 Day have to do with launching a business empire? Well, wherever you go in the city, you'll be hard-pressed to not witness and or experience the impact from the legacy of Herman J. Russell. In fact, if you arrived in the city by way of the airport, you most certainly experienced it, but we'll get to that later. Building Atlanta: How I Broke Through Segregation and Launched a Business Empire was published in 2014 and chronicles the life of Herman J. Russell, one of the most superb entrepreneurs of his generation. Growing up with a speech impediment and often ridiculed for it, Herman learned how to define himself very early. In fact, his first job was at the age of 6, working with his father in his plastering company. Both his parents were hardworking, church-going people who instilled and nurtured the entrepreneurial spirit and strong moral values in Herman. Developing both his leadership and building skills, Herman bought his first property at 16 and built a duplex on it, earning rental income as a property owner in high school. Earning money while in school wouldn't be uncommon for him. While he was attending Tuskegee Institute, Herman had clients across the city whose houses he would work on in between classes. He had hired fellow classmates and had one of his brothers move from Atlanta to help manage the clientele. He was so committed to doing a good job on every project and was adamant that people who worked with him had the same level of commitment. Later, his father would get sick and wasn't able to keep up with the workload. Herman moved back to Atlanta and took over his father's relatively modest company. This is when the H.J. Russell & Company would form, and Herman would build not just the city, but also himself into one of the most formidable men of his time. With complete dedication to his work and work in general, Herman went on to build 2,000 rental properties, establish a property management company, an insurance company, and construction company, all before the age of 40. His wealth, power, and influence grew to such extents that it would inevitably cross over to the political world. Forgive me for not clarifying this earlier, but Herman was born in 1930, so he's alive and well during World War II, Emmett Till, and the Montgomery bus boycotts. The residue of lynching still lingered. Racism was absolutely front and center. Atlanta was trying desperately to move differently than other southern cities at the time, and this is how Herman embedded himself into the socio-political world. He was overall reliable. You could count on him to get a job done, period. And the type of reliability is what made people come to him. He was good friends with Dr. King, Ralph David Abernathy, Andrew Young, Vernon Jordan, Jesse Hill, John Portman, Johnny Cochran. He funded Mayor Jackson's mayoral campaign. Listen, I try to keep these reviews relatively short just because I know attention spans and whatnot, but Herman was a legit businessman superhero. The man created jobs like most people create excuses. No, seriously. Herman had a habit of employing his family members, which I'll highlight in a separate reel. But to keep kids out of the streets during the summer, he and Jesse Hill created upwards of 6,000 jobs alone. When civil rights protesters were being jailed, he paid their bails and legal fees. He scored HUD contracts and built apartment complexes. In 1960, he was the first black man accepted in the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce. Imagine a 30-year-old black man walking into a room with white men 20 plus years older than him talking about city finances. People couldn't help but respect him. In his mid-30s, he was sitting on the board of 2 different banks, and for the finance nerds out there who would say that's impossible, the Federal Reserve had given him special permission to do so. Through his own company and through joint ventures, Herman J. Russell had a hand in building the Jimmy Carter Library, the Coca-Cola headquarters, the Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, the Georgia Pacific Building, Centennial Olympic Park, the Olympic Stadium, now known as the Turner Field, Phillips Arena, now known as State Farm Arena, the Georgia World Congress Center, Delta Airline headquarters, the Horizon Sanctuary for Ebenezer Baptist Church. In fact, Herman built a number of churches across the city. His philanthropy is embedded all throughout Atlanta as well. Millions donated to schools and civic centers. He quite literally pulled all the strings. I'll leave you with a quote from former Atlanta Mayor Kasim Reed. "I made the trip that all young politicians make to Mr. Russell's home. It was an amazing experience. You're sitting in his house asking for his support, and you can be a bit overwhelmed by how long he has been an influence in the life of the city of Atlanta. His life literally runs through the life of the city of Atlanta through almost every elected leader that we've had over a 40-year span of time. If you want to pick the brain of one of the most brilliant business minds of our time, Building Atlanta by Herman J. Russell is the book for you. Happy 404 Day. Like if you enjoyed this segment, share if it could benefit others, subscribe for more book-related content. Till then, stay in the book and stay out the way.